Are the double standards we deal with. Why do we still have double standards in our modern world? How can we alter people's mindsets so they mature and get rid of the damaging double standards from our society and live peacefully? People apply double standards both consciously and unconsciously for a variety of reasons. Even when taking into account variables like body fat percentage and body composition, women are still shown empathy when it comes to body image. On the other hand, it may be argued that men experience greater shame for not living up to what I consider to be higher criteria of beauty than those that apply to women. In today's video, we'll discuss the double standard we deal with. Hello and welcome. Let's get straight into the video. Do you remember that it was initially reported that Johnny Depp had been abusing his partner Amber Heard physically? Everyone was sympathetic towards her. An entire article in Trash Vogue was devoted to dissecting headlines that the author thought was even somewhat sexist or unkind to Heard. After it became clear that Heard was the abuser and Depp the victim, and surprising that the author has not published anything about the entire affair. Like many other people, she persisted in her campaign against Depp. Why is there still a gender gap in standards of performance in this current era? Due to the persistence of sexism, I'm done now. That's the cause. There wouldn't be a double standard if there was actual equality. No one cared whether you were male or female, and both genders enjoyed equal opportunities and rewards. When was the last time you held someone to a different standard just because they had red hair? If you had a left hand, other than a few ginger jokes, most likely never. Because we no longer make exceptions for people who have red hair or left-handed. Redheads are not subject to a different standard. There won't be a double standard when we go past the mindset that women can't do certain things for specific reasons, and it never occurs to you to consider whether the person performing something is a man or a woman. But as long as we hold on to sexist notions like men are innately better at leadership or that women are better at changing diapers, we will maintain a double standard. Overcoming double standards and how to spot discrimination. When there is a differential treatment that is not adequately justified, a double standard exists. This is significant because it shows that treating two or more things differently isn't always unfair and is occasionally justifiable. For instance, expecting better behavior from an adult than a toddler is typically not considered to be using a double standard because the two sorts of people differ in a way that supports the various expectations. In a similar vein, given their position of authority and responsibility, elected officials may be held to a higher standard of conduct than average citizens. Asking yourself if there is an adequate reason for this treatment will help you determine whether certain unequal treatment is indicative of a double standard. If required, you can also inquire about the individual implementing the unfair treatment or of another pertinent party. This is because false equivalences might lead you to feel incorrectly that a double standard is being used when the objects receiving uneven treatment are distinct enough to warrant this treatment. Furthermore, you should use Hanlon's razor and assume that the individual applying the double standard is doing so accidentally as long as doing so is acceptable. How to react to double standards? Well, the first step in responding to the application of double standards is to confirm that what you're witnessing is, in fact, a double standard. Following this method described in the preceding section, if you haven't previously, and if it makes sense in your situation, the next step is frequently to ask the person you think is using a double standard to explain their reasoning. Not only enables you to assess whether they are using a double standard, but also provides you with a clearer understanding of their motivations. Furthermore, if the application of double standards is inadvertent, this can have the added benefit of possibly aiding the offender in becoming aware of their actions, especially if you can ask them to justify why identical things are treated in different ways. Additionally, it can assist you in highlighting the flaws in that person's logic when applying double standards on purpose. If none of these suggestions work, you should select a different one based on the situation, such as breaking relations with the individual who is using a double standard or raising the problem to someone who can fix it. Now, before we move ahead, do please take a second to like this video and subscribe to our channel so that we can keep bringing more informative and fun videos for you. A little contribution means a lot to us. A few of the double standards that men face are as follows. Only one of you can be charged with rape if you and a female have sex when both are drunk. There was the anti-rape poster I previously saw, which featured two youths having a hookup after drinking. She was unable to give her consent, thus the guy is arrested for rape. The ad makes no mention of how it could also go the other way around, with the girl being charged with rape because he was unable to provide his consent. The poster gives no thought to the man as a potential victim. It even accuses the man of ruining his life and shames him. It made me feel ill. It just served to encourage male victims to hide even more. Women can abuse us all they want, but when we retaliate, we turn into monsters. When she was enraged, my ex-girlfriend would frequently use knives, tasers, and weapons. I frequently hit her out of self-defense. We dated for 3 years, and undoubtedly contributed to my low self-esteem. I love to hate it. It nearly destroyed my mental health. I now consider myself to be a sexist and a woman beater simply because I am aware of my capacity for doing so. Even as I type this, I don't feel justified in my actions, even though I was defending my own life. The very thought that I could hit a lady has brought me to some really low points. You're expected to love it if a girl sexually abuses you. When I was once plastered, a girl sexually abused me, and I kept shouting, "No, I don't want this." When I told people, they all encouraged me to suck it up, and I should have relished getting some action. But I woke up feeling violated and incredibly uncomfortable. Dads who stay at home are lazy losers. Moms who stay at home are strong queens. I care for my wife and my 2-year-old son, thus I'm a stay-at-home dad. My wife works sometimes 12-hour days, has a career that shows promise for promotion. The "why doesn't he have a job and he's a deadbeat dad" routine is something I hear frequently. But if I were a woman, I'm sure I'd hear about how hard women work as housewives. If you take young children out in public, you risk being labeled a predatory pedo. If you take young children out in public, you risk being labeled a predatory pedo. I'm a 19-year-old boy who frequently watches my 3- and 6-year-old girl cousins. We played tag the last time I watched them, following by a trip to the grocery store. I chased a 3-year-old down while jokingly shouting, "I'm gonna get ya," in a humorous voice to make her laugh. She runs away from me because she wants to play tag. My 3-year-old cousin is grabbed by a man as she walks by along with the 6-year-old, who she then takes to a manager. To let them know I was keeping an eye on them, my aunt had to descend. However, if I go out in public with young children, especially girls, I'm perceived as a predator. That's the worst it's ever been. So, what are your thoughts about the double standards we deal with in our daily life? Tell us in the comment section below. And if you guys like this video, then be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Also, if you don't want to miss out on any new future videos, then make sure to click on the subscribe button. Turn on the notification bell so that you're notified the next time we upload a video on the latest. Thanks for watching.